Hi, my name is Alan Ilshire. With me today is Dr. Butler. He's the Dean of Academics here at the Marine Military Academy. Tell us what's happening and what's exciting in academics at MMA.
Well, Alan, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that we just wrapped up our first quarter exams. And so we're in the process right now of doing the grade calculations for first quarter. And I'm always really excited about this time of year because we have so many outstanding young men that we're going to have the opportunity to reward. As you know, any young man who scores a 3.0 or better for the quarter, we reward them with a day off, feed them a great lunch, and provide them the opportunity to go out on us and watch the movie of their choice. And what we do is we take that time while those young men are out having a good time and enjoying the rewards of their hard work. And maybe some of the guys who struggled a little bit, didn't do as well on that exam, or had some challenges over the course of the quarter, we implement another opportunity for our drill instructors, our teachers, and those cadets to have a private conference. It's certainly not anything that's punitive. It's designed to help them be more successful in the classroom so that they get extra tutorial time as needed, so that the drill instructor and the teacher understand together exactly what areas need to be worked on with the cadet right there to get the full benefit of that conversation that really works three ways, where they're able to discuss what the teacher can do better, the drill instructor can do better, and the cadet can do better to ensure their support. And that's just one of the things that allows us to ensure that the cadets at the Marine Military Academy are as successful as they are.
Well, it really seems like a tremendous proactive approach where you're bringing all the team together for the same goal for those cadets. So again, I applaud the academics team because you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Well, thank you very much. And it's a group effort. Everything at the Marine Military Academy is about working with the cadet, the drill instructor, and the teacher to ensure success.
Now, I know midterm enrollment is coming up, and that's another unique opportunity for those cadets that or parents that are interested in sending their sons here to find out more about it and possibly send their sons to the Marine Military Academy. Tell us a little bit about midterm enrollment, and then we'll get into some of the specifics.
Well, midterm enrollment is an important time for the Marine Military Academy. It allows cadets or potential cadets the opportunity to come join us when maybe they were unaware of the academy, or they had other things going on in the fall and they couldn't make that traditional fall admittance time frame. And so this is a time for them to be able to come in, still go through the same introductory training that our boys do in the fall to assimilate into the Corps of Cadets and the way that we do things here at the Marine Military Academy, and be successful without having to wait all the way for a full another academic school year. I would encourage anybody who's interested in joining us for midterm to contact me to discuss the academic options and where their son is academically. Of course, to contact the admissions department to talk about the process of joining the Marine Military Academy.
I know one of the challenges perhaps that parents might be concerned about at this point is the difference in traditional schedules, block schedules, things along those lines. Can you help us better understand what that means, what it means for a cadet trying to come in that may not be on the same type of schedule?
Absolutely. Marine Military Academy does work on a traditional schedule. We run 6 45-minute periods a day. We do that purposefully. A lot of our young men are not practiced at paying attention and staying focused on one core subject for an hour and a half. I mean, that's difficult for me.
Sure.
Asking them to do that is a challenge. So we do have that traditional schedule. We do still see a few young men who are in a block type schedule where they take all of their courses for one semester, and then they get those credits, and then they switch over to that second semester and take another set of courses. Typically, they're in that class for an hour and a half. So they come to us with, maybe 3 or 4 credits already completed on the year and haven't had any instruction in another one. That can create some challenges, but it's nothing that we're not used to working with, and it's not anything that we can't work around. We have lots of single semester courses that we can plug in that are required for graduation, such as speech and health and English composition, computer science, courses like that if they've already had their English, math, science, and history in the first term, we can still keep them on track for graduation and moving forward in a college prep curriculum. For those who maybe didn't take an English class or didn't take a math class in that first term, again, we can work with them because my teachers are very good with differentiated instruction, making sure that they work with the boys to meet their needs. And then in order to work the credits, we can do credit by exam at the end of the term to make up for that first term. We can dual enroll them maybe in an MMA online program where they're working online concurrently with some work that they're doing during the regular day, and coordinate that with a study hall or some other type of study period. There's just lots of things that we can do to make it work. And as a small private school such as we are, that's really our specialty, is making sure that we meet the needs of each individual student based on what they come to us with, not expecting them to conform to who we think we are because of some arbitrary standards or requirements that maybe we have built into the day. That's not us.
Well, again, it's obvious that a lot of effort, a lot of time is put into evaluating all the different options and to making sure that we are there for each and every cadet.
Well, I'm really proud of the professionals that we have here at the Academy to make sure that those opportunities are in place and that the needs of our cadets are met, because that's really what we're here for.
I know one of the new programs, ELL, talk to us about ELL, ESL. What does all that mean?
Well, you've got the English language learners and English as a second language, and all these acronyms and letters that are out there. And really what it all comes down to is we are a school that has an international flavor. We've got boys from Mexico and China and different African and Central American and South American countries. We've even got people who speak really strange languages like British English. And so we've got a lot going on there, and we need to be able to work with those young men too. Some of them, because of their educational background, come to us, and you wouldn't be able to pick them out of a kid who grew up in Houston his entire life.
Right.
Some of them, however, do need some additional educational assistance in order to move beyond the language challenges they're facing so that they can really tackle the core curriculum and the college preparatory electives that we have available to these young men so that they can still get into the college of their choice upon graduation. And we have some great programs from that. We do have a summer program that is a full 4-week immersion program for them to be able to kind of get some MMA experience, some MMA time before the school year starts, and really focus in a high intensity language development program, as well as during the school year. We offer some assistance through the English department and foreign language departments that not only coaches our other teachers up on how to best work with these boys and make some temporary accommodations for them to allow them to catch up on the language side, but also to provide that tutoring and extra language assistance, whether it be through reading, writing, vocabulary development, you name it, to ensure that they have every opportunity to be a success.
Now, these programs, you mentioned that they're part of the regular programming, but you also mentioned the ESL program as being part of the summer camp. I mean, is it too early for those parents that are considering that to start enrolling or to get their kids engaged in that program?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't wait on it. If you're thinking about coming at midterm, don't wait on summer camp. Let's go on and engage and get them involved in the great programs that we have already for the school year. But for somebody who's looking a little bit further out and is thinking, I may want to do this, and they've got a limited English proficient student, I cannot say enough good things about our 4-week English immersion program. The young men who go through that and participate in it, engage in it, the language growth that they see is almost unbelievable. It really, really is. They can come in truly understanding almost nothing and walk out the door in 4 weeks not as a certified translator, but certainly academically capable in the English language. And just with a little bit of English background, those guys can almost walk in without any language barrier challenges at all on day one to the school year.
Well, it sounds like you've got a good marriage. You've got both ends, and you know, if the parent is thinking about possibly for next year, you've got the summer camp, but there's no reason why a limited English proficient student would not fit in now.
No, they absolutely would fit in, and we welcome them and look forward to them being here because we do have the programs in place to help them out. You know, we're available 100% of the time to make sure, once again, that we meet the needs of the young men that we have in our care to ensure that they have every opportunity for success.
Fantastic. Let's talk now about credits.
Okay.
Is there any reason that parents should be concerned about transferring credits? Can you talk about that for just a minute?
No, sir. You know, credit transfer is something that we don't have to worry about at all. We are fully accredited through the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, which is one of the largest regional accrediting agencies, most respected around the world. Places like Texas A&M, University of Texas, you know, all the big public universities are going to be accredited by them. The majority of your, you know, premier private college preparatory schools are going to be accredited through them. The public schools are required to accept those credits. Private schools are required to accept those credits. There are no challenges with transfer credits with a Marine Military Academy transcript. Our credits are fully transferable no matter where it is that they want to go, should they leave us. And the same thing coming in. If someone comes to us, if they are coming from an accredited school, by our accreditation standards, we're required to accept those credits.
Wow.
If they come to us maybe from a homeschool environment or from an unaccredited school, we will evaluate that with the parent and certainly make every effort to provide credit where it is appropriate and make sure that that kid is not unduly penalized or anything for something that was beyond their control.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to move forward and make sure that they're on track for graduation and that they're getting the benefit of a Marine Military Academy education. And our goal is to always look forward, not look back.
Can you talk a minute about the curriculum, the different types of curriculum? And you know, does that present a problem for parents or cadets or students coming from other countries, other areas around the United States?
You know, that's a great question, and I'm just going to kind of answer it with a blank no, and then explain that a little bit. Coming to the Marine Military Academy, you're coming into a college preparatory curriculum that's highly focused on ensuring that our cadets are going to be successful not only into getting into the college of their choice, but succeeding at the college of their choice, at being highly successful students, highly successful citizens. And so everyone has the opportunity to come and do that. I don't care what their background is. However, you know, if they're not used to homework and study and rigorous standards, there's going to have to be a little bit of a change of attitude there, which is a lot of what the Marine Military Academy is about.
Sure.
Is helping young men understand what their potential is, establishing goals and dreams, and then having the self-motivation and discipline to go chase those dreams. And so, no, it's not a challenge coming in, but they may be in for a different experience than what they're used to, because we do have expectations that they will succeed. We set the standard high because we know what it takes to be successful as a higher education student at the college or university, and we know what it takes to be successful as a citizen in our great country, and we're going to prepare them to do all those things.
You know, you mentioned a number of times about college placement, getting ready for the college of their choice and so forth. I know that that's something that starts from the day that they start. Is there any challenges to helping cadets that are coming in at midterm take full advantage of those opportunities?
There's not really. Obviously, I have more opportunity with a midterm 8th grader because hopefully I'm going to keep him, you know, for 4.5 years, and we're going to get to work him from the time he's a second semester 8th grader through our college placement office with both group, grade level type interviews and presentations to individual interviews and presentations. We're going to do the interest inventories, the personality inventories, the college awareness projects. We're going to do the whole 9 yards. And the longer I have him, the more we're capable of doing that. Clearly, if I've got that midterm 8th grader, I've got lots of time to work with. If I get a midterm junior, well, things are a little bit tighter, so we have to put his college placement education in overdrive. Right. We really have to pump it up and get started very, very quickly, and we do that with Robin Ferris, our college placement counselor, and the college placement team to make sure that, you know, they have what they need, given the record that they have at that point, to be successful, understand what their options are, and move forward.
Well, I know that that's one of the shining stars here at MMA, the college placement effort. Mm-hmm. When I talk to seniors or cadets at all levels, you know, they really talk very highly of that entire program and the effort that she goes through, that Robin Ferris goes through to ensure that you know, every school is looked at in terms of finding the school that best meets the needs of that particular cadet.
It's so important. You know, we want to make sure that our cadets pick a school that fits them, that fits their career goals, that fits their educational needs, that fits their personality. The worst thing that can happen is for someone to say, I'm going to a school because their football team won a national championship last year. Right. That's wonderful. However, you know, if that's at a, you know, huge school that has 60 or 70,000 students, and you're a little bit of an introvert, and maybe they don't have the exact right major that fits what your particular career interests are, and their social life is a little bit different compared to what your standards and values are. All those types of things go into finding the perfect college or university for each of these young men. And even though we don't tell them where they should go or have to go or anything like that, working as a team with the cadet and the parent and the college placement office, we can provide some guidance, some recommendations, and some education that allows that family to make a really solid, informed decision on where that young man ought to go to school and that fits his personality, his educational needs, his career goals and desires. It really works out well.
As we go back to, you know, midterm, are there grade levels that you take in at midterm? Are there grade levels that you don't take in? What are the things maybe that parents need to know a little bit more about that?
You know, that's a great question. I like getting them as young as I can get them. I know if I could get all 8th graders, I'd love that, because it just gives us so much more time to work the magic of the Marine Military Academy. We don't take midterm seniors because they should have already applied to college. We're only talking about that one semester. There's just not a whole lot that we can do, and ethically, I would really have a problem of bringing that young man in, removing him from his class rank, removing him from what he's worked 3.5 years towards at graduation at his school, all the things that go into that, because the gain of that one semester I just don't think justifies what's given up. We don't take in postgraduates at midterm for the same reason. There's just not a lot that we can do in that short period of time that's going to justify us making that decision. On the other hand, we will take a mid-semester junior, but I got to tell you, I wish those parents would have brought him to me as a first semester junior, or even better, as an 8th or a 9th grader, because, you know, it's the guys who've been with us for 4 and 5 years, consistently, the overwhelming majority of them go to college with a scholarship in hand to help defer or completely cover the cost of higher education. And so that kind of tells you how the longer they're with us, the real impact that a place like the Marine Military Academy has on their ability to really set forth and shine and show what their academic capabilities are, their leadership capabilities are, their ability to be just a great citizen at the university and the community wherever they are.
You know, I know one of the things that comes up in conversation from parents is the concern, I'm from Australia, I'm from France, I'm from California, I'm from Maine. What are the different ways that a parent can communicate with their son while they're here?
Well, on the weekends, if they're doing well, of course, the young men are, through their drill instructor, provided their cell phone, should their parents have provided them with one. So they have the opportunity on the weekends to communicate via cell phone. And of course, these days with cell phones, that opens up the whole world of email and Twitter and Facebook and everything else. As well as for those boys who are performing well again, they have the ability to come over to the library in the evenings or maybe go to the college placement office, you know, during lunch or during a break they may have, or even over into the Cadet Activities Center and access some of those basic technology communication tools that we have today, whether it be email, Facebook, telephone, you name it. So there's lots of ways that they can communicate just like they would if they were at grandma's house back home. So that doesn't present so much of a challenge. You know, sometimes we have a parent that worries about the distance, but we take as good a care of these young men as if they were our own. We know that we're not going to, you know, provide the same love and baking that apple pie that mom does. However, you know, when you send them over to a friend's house or you send them over, you know, to a relative or wherever to spend the night or spend the weekend or spend a holiday, they're away from home. And whether they're 5,000 miles away from home or they're 5 miles away from home, you still have those communication tools that are available to you. You still have the ability to communicate with the teachers, the drill instructors, and your son. Everything is in place, just as if they were at the neighbors across the street.
Not to mention the international airport as well.
Oh, yeah, it's right next door.
Right.
That's a, you know, sometimes when I'm out and people and I are talking about MMA, they say, well, you know, how do these kids get to the school? I say they walk out the front door and turn right. That's all they have to do.
Sure. Again, a lot of parents really want to keep in close touch with what's happening with their son. What are the different ways they can access grades, find out how their student is doing, maybe without actually talking to the son?
Well, there's really a couple of ways. One, we do have almost real-time grades that are accessible to the parent through a password system, so they can log on to the Marine Military Academy website, get onto the grades page, enter their password in, and have full access to their son's grades in each of his classes. So they can see how he's performing at that point, and of course they can talk to the teacher and the drill instructor. Send either one of those individuals an email. We have a 24-hour communication turnaround policy. If someone has sent an email to one of my teachers and they don't get back to them within a business day, if they contact me, you know, by gosh, within the next hour or two, they're going to get the answer they need. And I know Sergeant Major Kinsley, as Commandant of Cadets, feels the same way about the drill instructors. You know, we're here to serve the cadets, we're here to serve the parents. We want to make sure that they get the information they need so that they are part of the process. Our goal is not to exclude them, it is to include them and make sure that they're informed, they're part of the process, they know what's going on, so that they can reinforce the positive things that are going on with their cadet.
Can you talk about that for just a minute? I know we touched on it briefly when we first started, but what are the many different ways that cadets can get the help they need if they need it? And what are the proactive things that we do to make sure that we know they need it?
Sure, my goodness, we run tutorials every day after school. There's almost a full class period that they can go see any teacher that they want to go see. You know, I've taught math and science here at the Marine Military Academy and other places. So when you have a student that's struggling, I know sometimes they don't necessarily connect well with the teacher that they have for whatever reason.
Right.
However, that's something that is a great skill in and of itself, is working with different groups of people, types of personalities. They're going to do that in the barracks. They're going to have to do that some in the classroom. But I tell the boys all the time, I say, if you have me and I'm your Algebra 1 teacher and you think I'm just the worst Algebra 1 teacher in the world, it's okay, because during the tutorial period, you can go see the teacher that you think is the best Algebra 1 teacher in the world every single day for almost a class period if you want to get that level of instruction. So you're really getting a great combination through the tutorial program of people skills plus the opportunity to get maybe a different twist on things. Or if they think I'm the greatest Algebra 1 teacher, they can come back and of course see me, and we'll sit down one-on-one, work through the challenges they're having. Each of the drill instructors has an academic officer and an academic NCO in his barracks. He can help put together and pair up a young man who's maybe struggling with a particular class or group of classes in his barracks with one who's doing phenomenal in those classes, or an upperclassman who, that same Algebra 1 student who's struggling in my classes, maybe there's an Algebra 1 honors guy that's just doing phenomenal, or maybe there's a pre-calculus or a calculus guy that can sit there and spend the time with him on a peer tutoring basis, both in the barracks or in the library. There's really just countless ways that the boys can get help with their academic studies in order to be successful. You know, and we see everything that we do here is trying to support their academic success.
Well, again, it's obvious that a lot of effort goes into ensuring that every cadet is successful. I mean, I don't know that I could even go back and name all the different things that you said that MMA does to ensure that every cadet is successful.
You know, we try real hard to make sure that that drill instructor, the teacher, and the cadet are the three legs of the success stool, so to speak, and that they have the opportunity and the time set aside to communicate with each other regularly, whether it's the daily communications on assignments and homework and testing that goes on between the drill instructor, the cadet, and the student, or like we talked about earlier, we set up at least one, if not more, conferencing opportunities for our students who are struggling, to where we can pull them aside. The teacher, the drill instructor, and the cadet work together to come up with solutions that everybody agrees to that are going to help that young man succeed.
Let me just ask you a question from a parent's perspective. I mean, so many of the things that you've talked about really do sound unique. Are these kinds of things offered at the typical high school, the public high school that you?
Well, you know, I think the public schools are great. Those teachers work really hard at trying to work with the kids that they're responsible for and help them be successful also. But in so many cases, they're working with 30, 35 kids in a class. Our average class size is about 11 or 12 kids in a class. For some of our more advanced courses, like the calculus APs and the chemistry APs, it's maybe 4, 5, or 6 cadets in a class. So, you know, you just can't compare the two things. Our cadets are coming to us, their parents have provided them with this great opportunity and opportunities leading up to it, and unfortunately so many of the kids that are in the public school environment, you know, they just have such challenging backgrounds that they're having to deal with. There's so much going on in the public schools. I would never cast a stone at the public schools themselves, the public school administrators or teachers. They're trying to educate the masses. The Marine Military Academy is focused on those cadets that have the opportunity to achieve greatness, and we're providing them that opportunity with the assistance of their parents, the training that's going to sharpen those skills and provide them with experiences that in so many cases just aren't available in a regular school environment. And so that to me is really the difference. It's not that, you know, we've got a tutoring program. Well, lots of schools have tutoring programs. It's that whole package. It's the military department and the barracks life, the teachers working together with small classes. It's everything. It's not one program. It's not, you know, one little package. It's the whole thing together that makes it work.
Well, again, the boarding school, the 24/7,
sure,
it's got to make a big difference.
Sure.
Also.
And you know, so much of it too has to do with the fact that when you remove them from that home environment where maybe they've got some friends who don't share the same high goals that they do, or you know, they've got the cutest girl in the world that sits next to them in English class, or all those things, they are distractors. And we're dealing with young men who are trying to make good decisions, who are trying to do good things, who have a bright future ahead of them, as long as they can set those distractors aside. And that's one of the great things we specialize in, as you say, with the boarding school environment, with the great example that those senior non-commissioned officer Marines as drill instructors set for them, as the teachers set for them in front of the classroom every day. You'd just be hard-pressed to find a better environment to foster success.
Okay, parents that might be watching today, who can they call? Give us some names, and we can put the phone numbers and so forth on the screen. But give us some names, some contacts that we can start matching up. Possible, if you have a couple of phone numbers, anything you can give us.
Well, you know, if they have any questions at all about academics, I would encourage them to call me first and foremost. And you know, they can reach me at 956-423-6006, extension 240. So I'm available for them with any academic questions they may have, concerns, college acceptance, transfer of credits, any of the things we've talked about today and more. In addition to that, I also serve as the Chief Financial Officer. So if they have some questions about tuition assistance, financial aid, can I work a payment plan, by all means, give me a call. We want to work with everyone to ensure that within reason, money is not a problem, something that gets in the way of a deserving cadet from coming to the Marine Military Academy. And then of course, for general admissions questions, you know, how do I apply, what all do I need, all those types of things, I would say that Ms. J. Perez, as admissions officer, is probably their greatest contact, and she can be reached at 956-423-6006, extension 251. And she can certainly answer all those questions and more, and you know, of course, direct them if they have more specific questions that falls outside of her area of expertise.
Well, again, it's so good having you on the show today. It's obvious that you're very, very passionate about what you do. Those kids are number one, and we appreciate that, and thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you. My pleasure, and hope to see a bunch of our new parents out here on January.
We always look forward to seeing those new cadet faces.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You bet.